You got my full support. That's the spirit. But what happened today?
You need to give it everything. No more trash like this here. Off you go.
Listen to me. You'd better start watching what you say before you get us all in trouble. Now move.
You don't even understand the basics.
I was originally hired by logistics.
So then it's okay?
All progress begins with failure, right? It's how we identify our weaknesses. Don't cry. People are watching you.
Live from the broadcasting house here in the county of Nairobi, this is the great KBC and this is KBC Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Njue. Lucy Maura is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Now straight to the news. Remember, we can keep this interactive via all our social media platforms as we are live. We begin our news coverage from the county of Mandera, where residents of the county are urging the government to ensure equitable distribution of development projects across the country. The locals who decried being neglected in development in the past say the Kenya Kwanza administration ought to consider them in provision of road and health facilities.
Mandera County, a region that have for long been sidelined in development projects. The locals are now hopeful that the new William Ruto-led administration will honor its campaign pledges in devolving development to reach them.
Bado time tunajua lakini bado tunakumbusha kila kitu, ile kitu ametuahidi campaign, ndio mimi naitisha yeye asisahau.
Our President, His Excellency, alete maendeleo ambaye imepeleka huko makaunti zingine, tunangoja.
The locals want, among others, the shortage of teachers, poor roads and dilapidated health facilities addressed by the Kenya Kwanza administration.
Bado tuko shida ya hospitali, bado tuko shida ya masomo.
Shida ambayo uko nayo sisi ni ukame, ng'ombe yote imemalizika, ngamia hakuna, mbuzi hakuna. Sasa watu ndio hatari kumalizika kwa sababu ya ukame. Hakuna biashara. Ile biashara tunafanya ni ya maziwa na nyama na nini, yote imeisha.
Aone maono yetu, aone watu wetu vile wako na njaa na kila kitu.
The locals are further urging the local administration to work closely with the national government so that they're not left behind when the national government is prioritizing development projects. Isafar reporting for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, some 16 pupils from Embu County who sat for the 2022 KCPE examinations are among this year's beneficiaries of Equity Bank Group Wings to Fly secondary school scholarships. The pupils drawn from all the 6 sub-counties in the county were among over 400 other applicants who had attained the requisite minimum of 350 marks but never made the cut. According to the bank, the 16 were the cases that the selection panel picked as the most vulnerable during the interviews.
Embu Town Branch Manager Teresia Migwa said there are many such cases, but the bank can only support a few and called on other corporate bodies and well-wishers to come on board and assist in this noble cause.
Wale wanafunzi ambao wanahitaji usaidizi na wamepita ni wengi zaidi ya uwezo wa Equity Bank peke yake. Kwa hivyo Jukumu letu ni kuomba ya kwamba kama kuna wafadhili wengine ambao wanaweza jitokeza, either ni financial institutions, ama ni watu binafsi, ama ni watu wa heri njema, wale wanaweza kujitokeza ili waweze kusaidia wanafunzi waweze kusimama kwa masomo.
Migwa said the beneficiaries are expected to join others from various parts of the country at Pangani Girls for an induction course before joining secondary school later in the month.
Na hivyo akifika kule shule ni vyema aweze kuconcentrate na masomo, ajue ya kwamba miaka 4 ikiisha atakuwa na maisha yake ya kuishi na anachagua wakati huu anaishi maisha aina gani. Kwa hivyo tunawahimiza ya kwamba wawe na discipline nzuri na wafocus kwa masomo, kwa sababu hiyo ndio mapenzi yetu ya kwamba waende kule wakuwe viongozi wazuri wa kesho na waweze kupita vizuri ndio waweze kuendelea na masomo yao na maisha yao vizuri.
Some of the beneficiaries who were accompanied by their parents and guardians could not hide their joy as they promised to continue with a good record of accomplishment in their secondary education.
Na nimefurahi sana na nikimaliza masomo ningetaka kuwa lecturer na nisaidie wenye wajiwezi.
Another beneficiary is Fedis Modoni from Nyarawa Primary School, who scored 361 marks, promised to work hard to achieve her dream of becoming a doctor while thanking the heaven for the sponsorship.
Nimefurahi sana kwa sababu nimechukuliwa na Equity na nikisoma ninatamani kuwa daktari.
In Kakamega, 8 learners were lucky to be picked among 984 bright needy learners who had applied for the Wings to Fly scholarship. Come to the aid of the other needy learners to pursue their education in secondary school.
946 applicants did not manage. And we believe other sponsors, including Limu, will come on board to sort them out.
Beneficiaries expressed their gratitude and promised to work hard to achieve their dreams.
My father was unable to raise my education fund because he had a TV spine after the accident in Eldoret. So I had help from teachers, other people, the well-wishers.
Mamangu hapa alikuja akajaribu hapa na nimeona nimechaguliwa na namshukuru Mungu.
Hakika nasema ni asante. Imekuwa ni safari ngumu lakini wametusaidia mpaka kufika kiwango hiki, ni mapenzi ya Mungu.
Beatrice Gatonyongetich, Lunchtime News.
Congratulations to the learners. Now they have the wings to fly in education. From education matters now to governance, where the Senate will this afternoon vote on its amendments to the National Assembly's proposed nomination on the select panel that will reconstitute the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The Senate on Thursday morning proposed allocating 1 slot in the selection panel to the Parliamentary Service Commission instead of 2. The Senate also increased the slots allocated to the political parties' liaison committee to 2 instead of 1 that they had been given by the National Assembly.
If it was not for the unique situation that we find ourselves in, Mr. Speaker, where the chairperson has now left office and 2 commissioners, and therefore we need to set up a selection panel to bring into place a constitutional commission, because, Mr. Speaker, you understand the urgency. If today, for whatever reason, there was to be a by-election, and you know there are many petitions in court, or even in the unfortunate event that for whatever reason a vacancy arose in any of the House, despite the constitutional provision that we have to do an election, IBC must carry an election within 90 days. There is no commission to run that particular. Therefore, this business is extremely important, Mr. Speaker.
We must demonstrate national leadership by agreeing on the things that require to be fixed. The IEBC, for those who are uncomfortable that probably political parties should be given more people and that kind of argument, let me tell you, you are here today because you are elected on UDA, because you are elected on ODM, Jubilee, and so on. But 4 years from now, you have no idea on which party you'll be elected. Politics is dynamic. And therefore, just to root yourself there that this is the position that my coalition or my party wants me to push you are refusing the fact that politics is dynamic. I therefore, Mr. Speaker, appeal to colleagues, members on the majority side, and request members on the minority side that this is the time for us to join ranks to demonstrate to the country that we are not sitting this morning and this afternoon to pick commissioners of IEBC. We are sitting this morning and this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, to create the path, to create a roadmap that will be used to identify these distinguished members.
And just a quick one, we will be beaming that live feed in the afternoon, so keep it KBC. And from Parliament to the coastal county of Kilifi, where the county government has set up a waste yard that seeks to segregate waste collected during cleanups. The move is aimed at ensuring that trash collected is turned into cash instead of choking dump sites.
Speaking during the first monthly cleanup of 2023, Kilifi County Environmental Officer in charge of Malindi Sub-County, Lennox Mangolo, said the segregation plans are aimed at sorting out different types of waste materials for commercialization.
Kwa hivyo tuko na mikakati ya kucluster wale wote ambao wanafanya zoezi hili ili tuwatambue na tuwasupport katika ile juhudi zao. Kwa hivyo ni changamoto kwetu kwamba tuhakikishe kwamba tunafanya zoezi hili kwa nguvu zetu zote na kujitolea.
Malindi Kenya Wildlife Service Senior Sergeant Abu Bocha called for more cooperation to ensure the environment is clean not only at the beaches but at the household level. He said they collected 22.5 kilograms of solid waste, 110 kilos of rags, 8.5 kilograms of glass bottles, while plastic papers were 69.5 kilos, which in total were 210 kilos.
Sio hapo beach peke yake, hata huko mjini, cause zile vitu ambazo ziko kwa mjini huko ndo zinakuja huku beach lastly. So ningependa sana kushirikiana na wananchi wote jumla wa Malindi yote na Kenya mzima kwa jumla, kwa sababu mazingira ndio uhai. Bila mazingira mazuri, uhai pia si mzuri.
Progress Welfare Association of Malindi Chairperson Kate Mwikali said efforts of cleaning up the town resort has been recognized by a group of conservationists from Los Angeles who also contributed funds for the cleanup progress.
Tumekuwa recognized by na hizi gloves umetumia zingine zimetoka Los Angeles. Kuna group inasafisha highway ya Los Angeles inayojiita Takataka Club, walikuja kama tourism pia hapa, wakakuja kusafisha na sisi one time, and they are watching, the world is watching and emulating what we are doing.
The monthly cleanup is an initiative of the Progress Welfare Association, the Kilifi County Government and other stakeholders. For Lunchtime News, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Very well, from the coastal county of from the coast, we head over to the food basket county of Nzoia, where the county governor, George Natembeya, has been leading a fertilizer distribution exercise. And as you can see on your screen, my colleague Wairimu Njenga is on standby to give us the latest from Namanjalala. I hope I've mentioned that right. Good afternoon, Carol.
Well, thank you for joining us, Ben Troy. We are in the heart of Kitale town, in Namanjalala village, rather, or town, right here in Kwanza constituency. And we will be speaking now to the governor, who has been traversing throughout the county, launching various projects. And just right now, he has just launched a borehole project right here in Namanjalala. He'll be telling us more of the projects that he launched in other areas of this constituency. And this is George Natembeya right here with us. Maybe you can join us and tell us maybe some of the various projects you've launched today, and also what plan you have for the Manjalala people.
Today I went to visit Cherengani Sub-County Hospital because we've had issues there, basically lack of facilities and lack of good services that have occasioned the Sub-County Hospital to be downgraded. We are embarking on our some 100 days RRI, during which time we want to improve services there, so that the hospital is regraded back to the sub-county hospital. We were then a bit disappointed because not very many people are going there for services, meaning that many of the patients are coming to the county referral hospital, causing unnecessary congestion there. Yet the objective of devolution is to ensure that government services go closer to the people. That one we are done. We put in place various activities supposed to be done within the next 100 days to ensure that government services in that hospital resume and are done properly with the expected standards. We're going to post more officers, including an extra medical officer there. We're going to construct a theater, a powerhouse, and many other things that are going to be done there. For this place normally is water scarce. People find serious challenges looking for water, especially in the dry season like now. We've also decided as government to sink one borehole per ward in the next 100 days. Then, of course, subsequently, we'll be sinking these boreholes as per need. Here, we expect to have 5 cubic meters. That's about 5,000 liters per hour. We're going to do the borehole. We're going to install a very good water pump. We're going to do a water tower with about 20,000 liter capacity. Then we're going to do solar panels to reduce the cost of harvesting this water.
Okay. Maybe we can talk about a little bit about the fertilizer subsidy program. I know the president is expected over the weekend to come and launch that program. I'd like to know how smallholder farmers in Nzoia and large-scale farmers also are benefiting from this subsidy.
On a subsidy fertilizer, we are not discriminating. Anybody who wants to get fertilizer are expected to fill those forms, apply. As long as they are farmers, you do an application, your registration is taken by the area assistant chief, is swept to the central place, and every farmer will be given 2 bags of fertilizer per acre. So the more the farmers will register, the more the fertilizer we're going to get. I like this program because there's no discrimination at all. Previously, of course, large-scale farmers were complaining that they were focusing so much on the smallholder farmer. But this time round, everybody's going to benefit, and we expect that at the end of during harvest, we're going to get more maize than we did last year.
Okay. Maybe you can share with us how many farmers have registered on the platform to get this subsidy fertilizer?
Nzoia, we expected to register 139,000 farmers. By yesterday, we had registered slightly more than 100,000. Of course, registration is supposed to end today, so we'll know at the end of today how many of the 139,000, of the remaining 39,000 have registered between yesterday and today. We expect that between yesterday and today, the remaining 39 should have registered. But the registration has been going on very well. We want to thank our farmers for showing a lot of enthusiasm in this. We are happy that the President of Kenya is coming was supposed to come and launch the program actually today. It's been postponed because of the fertilizer has not been distributed to areas where it's supposed to be distributed. So that once he launches, a farmer should be able to get the fertilizer immediately. We want to sort out that problem where the President has launched the program. We want to look for a fertilizer and it's not there. So what occasioned the postponement of the fact that fertilizer has not been distributed to areas where it's supposed to be distributed. When that is done, we're going to have that official launch.
We saw a deficit of 10 million bags in maize production, and here is the bread basket of the country. Maybe you can share with us, maybe with the long green season that we are expecting, are we likely to see up to, the maize production going up?
Maize production is going to go up because the low production was occasioned by so many factors. Biggest among them that our soils are sick. We've been using the wrong fertilizer. There's acidified our soils. We want to change from that very popular brand to one that has got very many minerals, very many components. And we believe with this subsidy, we're also going to get a bit of subsidized seed, certified seed from Kenya Seed. Our farmers will have sufficient inputs at an affordable cost, and therefore a larger area of land is also going to be cultivated. And we expect that at the end of the year, we're going to have enough maize.
Okay, maybe we can talk a little bit about the function on Saturday for the bishop. Maybe you can expound and tell us what to expect on Saturday, apart from the launch of the subsidy program.
The Catholic function is very, very important because our bishop, Bishop Crowley, is the last missionary in Kenya and is exiting. So all our bishops are going to be African. We are happy that the incoming bishop, the Bishop Juma, is actually from Western. It comes from Busia. We expect so many people to attend that function. It's going basically to be a church function, but we want as many people as possible to come. Because in the longest time, we've not not had a sitting president of Kenya come to Nzoia for any function. This is going to be the first one, and therefore we're urging our people to come in very large numbers, welcome the president. We'll have a few things to say about the challenges that are facing our people, even if it's a church function.
Thank you so much. Well, that has been George Natembeya, who is the governor of Nzoia County, just speaking of various projects that he has been launching throughout this county, and also talking about the maize, or rather this fertilizer subsidy program that has been ongoing across 38 counties. And the president is expected over the weekend right here to launch that program. And as the governor has rightly put it, he will be there with the president to also see that farmers in this county get the fertilizer that they need to plant this season. Back to you in studio.
Thank you. That has been my colleague Wairimo Njenga live from Namanjalala, there engaging the county boss George Natembeya on some of the inspection tour that he has had, but the buck stops on matters distribution of fertilizer. He's talked about registration and said no discrimination whatsoever on that distribution exercise. Something else I've been able to pick up is in terms of the health facilities, talking about going to be including more officers, construct a theater, and also improve the infrastructure, and also the water challenges in the county, especially now that we have drought. Njenga will be coming a little bit later with a more comprehensive report, including the visit by the president over the weekend. Away from that, tension is high along the West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet border after 2 people were killed and 1 seriously injured in an attack by suspected bandits at Akiriamet village, Chesegon area. The bandits ambushed the herders, killed one and injured the other before making away with more than 30 goats. The bandits also killed a truck driver working for a road construction company operating in the area.
Sisi tulikuwa tumefanya mkutano pale Chesegon na tukasema tutembee barabara ya amani, hizi jamii mbili ziweze kuishi kwa amani, kwa sababu kuna faida kubwa katika kuishi pamoja kwa amani. As soon as possible, just bring and recruit NPR from West Pokot side. If not, disarm the other community as well, so that we are all the same.
Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has launched integrity clubs in universities in the Nyanza region to help nurture integrity among learners. Speaking during a conference at the Tom Mboya University, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Director of Preventive Services, Vincent Okongo, appreciated the progress made by learning institutions in establishing and supporting the operations of integrity clubs across the country. Learning institutions.
The youth of this country, through this conference, have got an opportunity to change their mindset. Even if they had learned before some bad practices or copied from parents the bad practices, or even from these universities, we want them to change their mind, take a step back, and clothe themselves with integrity.
As we are also aware, the way that was conducted by ESCC and released in December last year indicated that the challenge of corruption is still there among professionals, and even universities face a similar challenge. So our role here is to remind students and the leaders in the various institutions of learning that they need to entrench integrity and promote values that will last long in our society.
So when we go back to where we come from, we are supposed to be good ambassadors of integrity, and we must bring all other student bodies, and they must get to know that we need to uphold our moral values and ensure that all we do is to ensure we do and do away with unethical behaviors in our society.
Very well, at about 25 minutes past the top of the hour, we are taking a quick breather, but on the other side of the break, we still have more news, business, and sports. Allow me to appreciate Mwaura Molo, who says he is watching. Sintra Rage, you say great job. And Joseph Wamalo, you say powerful. Moses Mutevu, Lamu, Kenya, niko ndani ya KBC, just sampling some of your responses on social media. Let's have that quick break, then we'll be right back.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
I discovered my talent when I was 3 years old. Then my mother could take me to the crowd and I performed poems. Then during national holidays, I would go there and perform my poems.
What is it that you love doing? What is it that you can do very, very well? In our story today, we read about Tulo, the frog.
If we do, drops do drop. If we do.
Today I'm going to show you guys on how to make the crispiest potato wedges.
Kufumba na kufumbua, mraibu akakua, vidole visituashe, kwa buibui sijishe.
I just want you to know. I don't get it.
Mrs. Nzoia, the rise in blood pressure was caused by something you told him.
Wait a minute. I'm not the only one who's visiting him.
I know, but silko tu day one.
Mom.
Nimesema sitaki. Mimi siendi.
Mom. Kunaweza kuwa kuna mtu anatu watch.
It's possible. So tunahave kuwa very careful.
Okay, sawa. Lakini hatuwezi kupuuza hivyo tu. Maisha ya baba yangu iko danger. Hata hospitalini.
The next time any of you fail to take my call when I call this office, you will go home. Ile kutumada, huyu atatumada huku. Hapo ndio Melissa ametufikisha sasa.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *967 #.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial *811 *967 #. *811 *967 #.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping me company. For the next story now, we cross over to the Samia Park. There's a groundbreaking ceremony and launch of the data center park. And we have our own Hibak Said, who has been keeping a keen eye on that report since morning. Hibak, over to you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ben, Troy, and Njue. We're coming to you live from the Samia Business Park, where just a few minutes ago there was a groundbreaking ceremony for the Africa Data Center, the largest data center in Eastern Africa. And we're talking about expanding the digital economy. Just a few minutes ago, Immaculate Kasait, the data commissioner, just left. And of course, we had been talking about how we're going to be expanding the IT sector. And with me, I have Tesh. Tesh, if you could just introduce yourself. You're currently live on KBC Channel 1, Lunchtime News. What is your name and what exactly are we doing here?
Well, my name is Ted. I'm the CEO of Africa Data Centers, and welcome everyone. We are breaking ground, on our new data center. And this data center is an expansion of our existing facility, which is about 4.5 megawatts large. And it's currently getting filled. It's filled with high demand IT users such as financial services, cloud companies, international companies, and small and medium businesses. And so as we continue to invest money in Kenya, we've seen the Kenyan business community continue to reward us with more business. So we've been very happy with that.
A lot of businesses are moving to the digital domain, and people are taking advantage of this because this is essentially the easiest way to grow into the global market.
Yes.
Expanding, you said 5 times.
Yeah.
How will this benefit, especially small businesses in this country?
Sure. Small businesses always are trying to conserve capital and conserve and put it towards their core business, whatever their core business is. But IT is such an important part of everyone's business. So all of the major cloud companies are customers of ours. So when a small business needs to buy an Azure cloud solution or an Oracle cloud solution or a Google cloud solution, they can find it here at our data center, and that allows them to run their business more efficiently.
Let's talk about saving costs. A lot of small businesses, as you've said, are trying to save cost. How will this expansion help them to save cost, especially when storing data and when sending data?
So when you move your information to a cloud-based environment or to a data center such as ourselves, you're basically outsourcing it. So what it means is you don't need to have all those facilities. We provide them for you. We provide 7x24 cooling, 7x24 power, 7x24 mechanical services. And these run 365 days a year. So this allows you to go focus on your business. So for small businesses, it saves you in all of those aspects.
Tesh, the data commissioner, was here and she was talking about cybersecurity and data protection and how that is essential in Kenya, especially as a growing country and the Silicon Savannah in Africa, so to speak. What are you doing as a company to ensure that this is met?
So as an infrastructure provider, we just make sure that the environment is sound and secure for them. Our customers make sure that they're following data protection policies and data sovereignty policies. We, of course, monitor and make sure our customer data is secure, but that's where we stop. Remember, our customers put their compute and storage in our facilities. We don't manage that.
The timeline for this project to end is in the next 18 months. What's your capacity going to be? How many companies are you going to be supporting in Kenya?
Well, that's a great question. So we have over 100 customers in Kenya now, and we'll probably continue to grow that. But a lot of what we're building for is our existing customers growing with us. So we might not even change the amount of customers that we have, but they're going to grow with us and take on more capacity.
Thank you so much, Tesh. As you've had we're talking about the digital economy and ensuring that small businesses have more access out there and get a grab of the larger international market. For now,
Thanks, Hibak, and apologies for that slight sound hitch. But Hibak Said is at the Samia Park there engaging the CEO of the Kenya Data Center, where he says that there are more options for ICT practitioners and, of course, going to bring the cost of storing data down. Of course, in our business news, we'll be having a much comprehensive report on that. And from the Samia Park to the newest city in the country, Nakuru, where over 500 former employees of Team Sales Limited in Elbagon have welcomed the ruling by Employment and Labor Relations Court in Nakuru that ordered they be compensated for unlawful dismissal. The former workers of the leading sawmiller have been in court since the year 2018 after they were fired for going on what the company termed as unprotected strike.
In a judgment made by Justice Helen Masilwa, the workers' labor rights had been infringed upon by the company. Following the judgment, the workers who converged at the court broke into celebrations as they explained the challenges they had faced since they were laid off.
Watu ambao tumekaa nje ni watu 530 kitu ambao tuko nje, na watu 530 wako na familia, wako na watoto, na ambapo tumeadhirika. Kuna ambao watoto wamewacha kusoma juu school fees hakuna. Kuna ambao watoto wamekuwa waende form 1 school fees ikakosekana. Tukawa tuna shida.
Leo tumesema ya kwamba tumenakiri ya kwamba kuna serikali katika Nakuru County.
The workers downed their tools in June 2018 after the company failed to pay their previous month's salaries, which saw them locked out of their workplace. They now hope that the company will expedite the release of the monies that will aid in their repositioning for a better life.
Kulingana na venye judgment imetoka, imesema ya kwamba tulipo miaka mitatu, tulipo simamisho kazi na tulipo graduate. Na amesema within 30 days if effect tuwe hesabu wakili wa kampuni na wakili wetu wawe wamerejesha ripoti ama hesabu zetu katika koti.
Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
Let's now make sense of shillings and cents in business. Agro dealers have been encouraged to only stock licensed agrochemicals to enhance food safety in the country. Safety Department Deputy Director at the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, Peter Kamuti, says efficient use of pesticides will ensure Kenya international market, reducing the overall cost of exports and increase farmers' earnings.
In August last year, Kenyan coffee destined for Japan was flagged by Japanese officials for use of consignment destined for the European market, intercepted due to high residue levels. To enhance proper handling of pesticides, the European Union-funded Market Access Program has been training farmers and agro-dealers on better handling of agrochemicals to enhance food safety in the country and show up export activities.
The fact that we are able now to test competently export produce, then we are able to provide that assurance to our importing countries that whatever which is being exported to their countries is meeting market requirements and is fit for for consumption.
There was increased interceptions on various products to the international market, especially the EU, for French beans, and we partnered with government and some private sector associations to come up with to formulate this campaign where we have been partnering together to promote the proper use of pesticides.
Agro-dealers have been encouraged to train and inform farmers on proper handling of chemicals once they purchase a product.
Mostly for our farmers around here, they just want to be told on what rates, what appropriate rates that are supposed to be used on a certain pesticide, and the target pests, the PHI, so all those things, the farmers want to be told the details.
The training, which is being carried out in 12 counties, seeks to increase the country's export volumes by ensuring local produce is subjected to less checks by conforming with international market phytosanitary requirements.
And we also encourage exporters because we license them. So during licensing, we would like them to show us the farmers they are working with, and they should provide training to those farmers on how to use pesticides.
Agro-dealers have been encouraged to only stock licensed pesticides to ensure the country's produce conform to international food safety standards.
The campaign is important for people to be aware that when they go to buy produce, they should look for first food safety.
Farmers have been advised to seek professional assistance before spraying their crops with chemicals to reduce cases of food contamination. Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Public education is the key to increasing pension savings in Kenya. Players in the industry say that the low pension savings, which stand at about 10.6% according to a CBK report, is largely due to misconceptions held by the public on the safety of the investment in pension schemes, as well as the nonchalant approach of young people towards planning for retirement.
Information about saving is all over social media and many platforms that are providing that particular information. As well, if you look at the efforts and the strategy as well of the Retirement Benefits Authority, is to be able to walk around and educate members on the benefits of saving in a retirement benefit scheme. Currently, I think the biggest challenge that we have is converting the information, because majority of Kenyans have that information. Is how then do we convert that information into savings? That is where the gap is. That is where we're working towards as an industry to be able to convert the information we have into savings in retirement benefit schemes. We have a lot of innovations that are happening currently, and some of these innovations to be able to come up with more saving products within a pension fund to be able to encourage, and majority of these people are in the informal sector, is to be able to see what products is more flexible to accommodate people in the informal sector.
And across borders, Egypt is experiencing a robust comeback in the tourism sector. This country is said to receive a batch of tourists from China and will uplift the sector that had been hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Here are the details of this and other stories from across the continent.
This could be the beginning of the influx of Chinese tourists to Egypt, and the number of arrivals from China could exceed 1 million per year from now on, after the country removed most of its COVID-19 restrictions in early December. The iconic Great Pyramids of Giza and many other famed tourist attractions are now filled with visitors from across the world, particularly Chinese tourists who are free to travel abroad again. Elsewhere in Rwanda, investors are set to carry out commercial farming in the Gabiro Agribusiness Hub project to increase the country's exports and substitute imports. The hub, initiated through a partnership between the government of Rwanda and Netafim, was developed to cater to the country's food security needs and offset the trade balance. The project aims to develop an added agricultural ecosystem and modern value chain. Finally, inflation in Ghana is slowly peaking at 78.1% in November. The country's producer price inflation retreated in December to 52.2%. Rising fuel, utilities and food costs increased consumer price inflation to 54.1%. Ghana's troubled KD currency saw rapid appreciation against the dollar in December after a 7 level. Ghana's troubled KD currency saw rapid appreciation against the dollar in December after a staff level agreement for a $3 billion IMF support package.
Amazon.com has announced its plan to lay off over 18,000 employees. Layoffs are the latest in the U.S. technology sector, with companies cutting their bloated workforce to slash costs to reverse pandemic-era excesses and prepare for a worsening economy. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines from across the world.
This could be the beginning of the influx of Chinese. The layoff decisions will largely impact the company's e-commerce and human resource organizations. The cuts amount to 6% of Amazon's roughly 300,000 person corporate workforce and represent a swift turn for a retailer that recently doubled its base pay ceiling to compete more aggressively for talent. Amazon's layoff now surpassed the 11,000 cuts announced last year by Facebook parent Meta Platforms. The layoffs underscore the retailer's slide from an essential business moving goods during pandemic lockdowns to a company that overbuilt for demand. For months, the company has braced for likely slower growth as soaring inflation in businesses and consumers to cut back spending. Elsewhere, Japan's export growth has slowed as China-bound shipment fell for the first time in 7 months, stoking fears of further slowdown in the global economy and external demand for Japanese shipments. Exports rose 11.5% year-on-year in December after a 20% gain in November, marking the slowest growth since the start of 2022, dragged down by a fall of in sales to China of cars, auto parts, and chip-making machinery. Exports to the United States in December rose 16.9% from a year ago, led by cars, mining equipment, and aero-engine parts. The whole of 2022, Japan logged a trade deficit of 19.97 trillion yen, the second straight annual shortfall and the biggest since 1979. Finally, Germany Finance Minister Christian Lindner has
said that Germany no longer depends on Russia for its energy supply. Russia turned off the gas taps to Europe, leading to fear of blackouts. Germany previously imported around half of its gas from Russia and more than a third of its oil. But Russia cut off the country's gas supply in August, while Germany halted Russian oil imports at the start of the year. In its race to find alternate source of energy, the country has reopened coal-fired power plants, delayed plans to shut down its 3 remaining nuclear power plants, and pushed to increase capacity to store natural gas imported from other countries such as Norway and the EU.
Of sports, and we begin right here at home, where reigning African champions KCB women's volleyball team has announced the signing of 4 new players in preparation for the upcoming African Club Championships and the 2022-2023 Kenya Volleyball Federation National League season. The Bankers will battle Kenya Pipeline, Prisons, Kenya and DCI for the league title when the playoffs start off Friday at the Kasarani Indoor Gymnasium.
Officially unveiled by the club's technical director Paul Bitok during a contract signing ceremony held at Kasarani Indoor Gymnasium in Nairobi. The new signing include Faith Cherotich, Elizabeth Mariana and Pauline Chemtai from Kondanze Secondary School. The 4th player outside hitter Juliana Namutira joins Bankers from KDF ladies volleyball team. Elizabeth Mariana is set to become the first Maasai girl to join Kenya Volleyball Federation League and potentially Kia Strikers. In a statement, Bitok emphasized the club's commitment to developing young players who will become future stars. He also stated that the club is ready to send players overseas to ply their trade when opportunities arises, citing the example of Sharon Chepchumba, who recently signed with a club in Greece. The Bankers will battle Kenya Pipelines, Prisons Kenya and DCI for the league title when the playoffs serve for Friday at Kasarani Indoor Gymnasium. Kingo Rimangi for Channel 1.
And we now ice the sports cake with these results from the EPL that were played last night. Crystal Palace Michael Olise scored a stunning last-minute free kick to deny Manchester United victory that would have taken them second in the Premier League after a 1-1 draw at Selhurst Park last night. The draw takes United above Newcastle into third but keeps them behind rivals Manchester City, who play Tottenham tonight at the Etihad Stadium.
Ten Hag